If your four-stroke is backfiring on deceleration, here's one common issue with an easy fix that could solve your problem.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Moto Joe's Garage. I'm Dylan, your average Moto Joe, and today we're going to be tracing down a exhaust leak on my 2023 Husqvarna FC350 here. I've been noticing a pretty rapid backfire pop on deceleration out of the track, and I think I might have found what the problem is, so let's check it out. I went through, checked the fuel filter, things like that. I know the valves aren't out of spec because this has a pretty fresh top end in it. And after riding a couple hours yesterday, I started to notice this carbon buildup around the midpipe joint where the header meets the midpipe. And if you see that on your joint, that is a telltale sign that you might have an exhaust leak here. And I'm going to show you another way that you can test that right now. Okay, so if you notice that carbon buildup around any of the joints on your exhaust, that's a pretty telltale sign. Another thing you can do is just take a spray bottle, mix up some soapy water, go ahead and fire your bike up and spray that joint and see if it bubbles like this. See that spitting out some bubbles there? That means we definitely have an exhaust leak. And also, one thing I noticed when I was looking at this a little bit closer is this spring here. Very loose, not really doing anything. So, we're also missing a bolt here, but that doesn't go into the exhaust system. That's just a plastic bolt. But this spring here is not pushing anything together. It's not helping hold it tight. So that is one thing that we need to replace for sure.
So here I am taking the bolts out of the exhaust where it mounts up to the frame here behind the rear number plate. On this is a 2023 Husqvarna FC350. It should be the same for any similar GasGas or KTM models as well. Pretty simple on any bike that you do. You just got to kind of look and see what the exhaust is attached to and detach that. So get these bolts out here. Little backstory on this: I bought this bike used, which I understand buying a bike used, you know, you're gonna have to go through it and things, but I bought it used from a dealership. They told me that it was serviced and ready to go and in great condition, and as soon as I took it out onto the track, I noticed that it had a pretty bad backfire pop on deceleration, pretty rapid and abnormal. Here I am just taking the spring off here that connects the header pipe to the mid pipe there. But so I took it back to the dealership actually shortly after, and I left them a message the very next day after I bought them and let them know what was going on. And they took it in, basically told me it was completely normal. Oh, and here you can see the carbon on the edge of the pipe there too, so definitely an exhaust leak here. But, and right here I'm just cleaning it with a sponge and some isopropyl alcohol, actually. I just put it on that sponge and I'm just cleaning off the outside of this joint, and I'm going to go ahead and get in and clean the inside of the joint here too with the same sponge and then wipe it out with a paper towel. But anyways, I took it to the dealership and I said, hey, this is backfiring really hard on deceleration. I just bought it. You know, I would expect better from a reputable dealership that tells me it's in great condition. And so I took it back, and they basically tried to tell me that that was normal for a four-stroke, which I understand that a little bit of a backfire on deceleration. The way that this was backfiring, I knew wasn't normal, and I've been riding dirt bikes for over 20 years now. So I don't know everything, but I'm a pretty good mechanic and a pretty good rider, and I know what I'm talking about. So took it in, they replaced the spark plug and an O-ring on the fuel line, and I guess just to shut me up or something. Told me it was normal. I took it back to the track. It still wasn't fixed, so I decided, alright, well, I'm just going to fix it myself. Now, I don't want to call out any dealerships or anything, so I'm not going to name any names, but just a heads up, even if a dealership, no matter how reputable or big the dealership is, if they tell you a bike's in good condition, you should still do your diligence and kind of go through everything, and this is one of the things that you could check. So, but, you know, it is what it is, and other than that, bike is in pretty good condition, so I just have to fix this one thing, and we're getting excited to ride it. This was Permatex Ultra Copper, just the normal stuff for this mid-pipe joint. This stuff will come apart if you need to take your exhaust out again, or if you want to replace your muffler or your exhaust system. It's not too hard to get apart. So I just put a thin bead all the way around that. And now I'm going to go ahead and slide this back into that mid-pipe joint. After I got that slid in, I just went around it with my finger and just kind of smoothed out the excess gasket maker that squeegeed out of there. And just reassemble, same way you took it off, and we're good to go. Put that spring back on, and next up I'll take it out to the track and I'll let you guys know if that fixed the problem. Why don't you guys tell me what you think? Give this a listen, see if you can hear that popping. It's kind of faint in the GoPro video, but I do think it needs a little more work. So next up, we're going to check the fuel filter inside the tank and then the valves, and I will keep you guys updated on solving this backfiring issue.